What car brand would you refuse to buy?
Koenigsegg. No. I don't think I'd refuse to buy anything. I want to learn more about every car brand I can because I want to see the engineering solutions. I want to see how these companies solve problems. And it's really interesting seeing how different countries and different companies solve problems. Like the British solve them in a very specific way, and the Germans solve them in a very specific way, and the Japanese solve it. Like, so everything just adds to like my knowledge and understanding of how engineering works and how different people's brains work. But there's no car that I would be like, oh, I'm never buying a car from that manufacturer, because if there's a manufacturer that makes really, really bad cars, then that's just an opportunity to like make them better if you care about that platform. Like, let's say if McLaren's, like if McLaren, like McLaren has some reliability issues, and but I really like driving them. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't buy a McLaren because they're unreliable. I would just buy one and then find out how it works and fix what doesn't work, you know?
I'm always so tempted on Facebook. I saw one. It was a 2006 Bentley Flying Spur.
Ooh.
And it had like 70,000 miles.
Mm-hmm.
$18,000.
I amend my statement. I would not buy a Bentley.
Why is that?
So a Bentley Flying Spur or a Bentley Continental GT. Yeah. I did have a 06, and it was the most hateful wrenching experience I've ever had. In order to fix one of those cars, it had a very specific issue, the early ones. Flying Spurs, I believe, had this as well, the early ones. So it is a giant W12 with twin turbos. There's no room in that engine bay for anything. Like, you have, like, it is a very cramped engine bay. So there are these vacuum lines, these little 35-cent vacuum hoses that go on the back of the engine, like along the transmission, and they are inaccessible, and they will crack because it's a really hot engine bay. There's a lot of heat cycles. Over time, those vacuum hoses crack, give you a check engine light. The car's not going to run right. It's like an emissions thing. And in order to get to those lines, the engine has to come out. A 35-cent hose. You can, on any other car, you can put that hose anywhere and then just, oh, this hose cracked, boom. You know, it's 5-minute deal. This is a 30+ hour ordeal. And while you're there, why not change things like the starter, because those go and it's really inaccessible. There's a bunch of stuff that you have to do while the engine's out. And then while you're pulling it out, all the fittings and hoses, they're all brittle, so they break. So you got to replace those. And the same thing for the cooling system. And it's just a nightmare. So I would not recommend that car, even though I do like Bentleys, like the later ones, the V8s, and like they're super, super cool. But like the early W12 Bentleys, unless you like really hate yourself and want to get dirty and have a car that isn't really that fun to drive and it feels really heavy, then, you know, I would just stay away from that car.
All right. What's your first gut response to these next couple questions?
Okay.
What's the worst car of all time? What's the image that comes to your mind?
I want to say Yugo GV, but that's not true. But yeah, Yugo GV, it's this car made in the late 80s and early 90s from Yugoslavia. Country doesn't exist anymore. And it was sold here. Actually, it was brought to the States by a guy that brought Subaru to the States as well. And his name was Malcolm Bricklin. And yeah, it was just sold for like $39.95, and it was just hateful and just didn't drive well, and yeah, they were pretty crappy.
The best car of all time,
McLaren F1.
And it's not even that was a true gut response right there.
Yeah.
Which car YouTuber is the worst with money?
Tavarish. Without a doubt. When Doug DeMuro said, "I'm worried about Freddie," yeah, I'm like, what's really crazy is when you're watching podcasts, and then Doug DeMuro says like, "Hey, I'm worried about you," and I'm like, "Oh God, oh my God." Yeah, the worst with money. I don't know what anybody else's financials are, but I have to assume it's me.
Who's the best with money?
Graham.
No, a car YouTuber.
Oh yeah, which car YouTuber?
You're not a car YouTuber?
No.
You don't consider yourself a car? You have cool cars. Okay. Stradman.
The best with money?
Yeah.
More
What
than
about his
Doug
house?
DeMuro?
Yeah, Doug DeMuro.
Doug
Yeah.
DeMuro, yes.
No. Doug's very specific with money, but he can be pretty frivolous. He'll buy some car that he considers cool, and then that's like, I think I don't think Doug DeMuro. I'm glad. I think he's totally fine with money. I think he's great. I think Stradman has monetized himself in such a way that he can afford hypercars and an incredible house and an incredible lifestyle, and he's opening up pizza places, and there's like upward mobility there. Doug, I think, put all his eggs in one basket, and it did pan out for him very, very well. But he said it himself. He's like, well, I don't know if I can do this again. I'm sure he can. I have a lot of faith in Doug, and I know he's very calculated with his decisions. But I feel like Stradman's probably, like, in terms of growth and ROI, I think he's probably better.
If you could only own one car for the rest of your life, what would it be?
GT3.
If you could only own one car for the next year, what would it be?
Like, and then after that, I just don't own cars anymore?
No, you can do whatever you want.
Oh, okay. Aston Martin DBS.
Why?
It's the last V12 big body Aston Martin with a manual. I love it. It sounds like an old F1 car. It's fantastic to drive. It's a great date night car. It's practical, and I think it's the best looking Aston Martin made in the last 25 years.
If you were to take a guess on your next massive rebuild, what would it be? First gut response.
LaFerrari.
I was about to say, you need that holy trinity.
I do.
One car it's missing.
I need a LaFerrari so I have the P1 that has been flood damaged, so you have a water type, and then you have the fire type 918, so I need a ground type. So I need the
Is that grass type?
Well, yeah, grass type, not ground type. Ground type would be what, like Diglett or whatever. Yeah. So, no, I need a Bulbasaur, right? So I need a LaFerrari out in the field or in a forest or something.
Yeah.
Do you know of any that exist?
I mean, not ones that need like an insane amount of work. The problem is they're $5 million. Like a good one is $5 million. I don't know if I could ever do something like that. Because like even if it crashed and like it broke in half, they're still going to ask like $1 million or $2 million for it. So like, I don't know what that looks like. But then again, I said this, back in the day, and now, somebody said, hey, do you want a Porsche 918? And, I said, how much do you want for it? Initially, they wanted something like $400,000. And then we got them down to $145,000. So I'm sure that there is some LaFerrari that's been in a wreck that's just sitting in a garage somewhere. And then, if I have two nickels to rub together, I can go over there and be like, I can rebuild this thing.
Or the Ferrari Enzo. That would be another one.
Enzo would be
Eddie Griffin one, or the one on PCH that's split in half. Like one of those.
The Eddie Griffin one would be cool. But yeah, the Enzo is an interesting one. But what I would do with an Enzo is I would manual convert it. Like, I think an Enzo with a manual would be amazing, and I think that would 100% get me a letter from Ferrari. Like, Ferrari would be like,
get sued.
Yeah, you can't do this. But that's what I would do with an Enzo.
And by the way, quick thanks to our sponsor, CyberGhost VPN, for sponsoring this video.
CyberGhost is one of the most trusted VPNs out there, with over 38 million users worldwide and over 20,000 strong reviews on Trustpilot.
Using a VPN is one of the simplest ways to protect your online privacy. Like, a lot more eyes are watching your online activity than you think.
And of course, even incognito mode does not stop it. Your internet provider, your work or school network, and even your home Wi-Fi router can still track what you're doing.
CyberGhost helps by encrypting your online data and running it through their secure servers. You just pick from over 100 locations before you browse.
It also lets you access geo-restricted games and content from over 40 streaming platforms, including Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney+. And here's a little special sauce I'll sprinkle on top. Changing your location can actually help you find better deals online.
CyberGhost works on all major devices like Mac, Apple, iOS, and Android, and you could protect up to 7 devices at the same time.
And guys, if you're thinking about it, using our link in the description gets you their absolute best deal at $2.03 per month, plus 4 months for free, which is 84% off.
They also offer a 45-day money-back guarantee, so it's risk-free to try it out. We like it enough to recommend it to all of you watching.
Once again, the link is down below in the description. Thank you so much to CyberGhost for sponsoring this episode.